Boys! Oh, welcome back. It's been, I don't know what, a week and a half, 2 weeks, some long amount of time. I think I'm well rested. Well rested enough to start playing the Ace Attorney again. My whole schedule's thrown out of whack. I was in Europe. I was in London. I was in Paris. I was in Berlin. I was in Prague. I spent 2 days in each city, and it was a wild time going back and forth and ping-ponging all around the countries over on that side of the globe. And now I'm back home. I haven't been to the gym at all, and I'm really feeling gross. You Vacation is such a pain in the ass, is what I'm saying. I didn't get a good workout in for well over a week. I completely switched up my diet because I was eating culinary foods. I had fish and chips in London. I had escargot. I had snails in Paris. I ate bratwurst. I ate some nice good old-fashioned sausage in Germany, and in Prague, I ate more sausage. I also had they make their ice cream there inside of like these fucking donut cones or something to that effect. It was a little too much for me, if I'm being totally honest, but I tried it. It was nice. I had about as much of a good time as I could have had in Europe. Granted, as I've mentioned before, and maybe in a future stream where I don't have a court case that's going to take an eternity to get through, I'll have time to dick around and maybe tell a more detailed story time about my time in Europe, maybe for our next game. The long and short of it is, the skinny, if you will, before we get into the game, is that I took this trip with a boy who I fell in love with, who did not like me at all, and in fact, finds me rather repulsive. And that sucked. I would have rather not done that, but, the trip was already booked, and we both wanted to make the best of that situation. And yeah, it just, the part of it that really sucked is like, it felt so much like it was the kind of trip that I should be sharing with somebody who's much more special to me, if I could be a bit of a romantic. And I didn't. I shared it with somebody who, quite frankly, probably would have rather been there with somebody else. And that was it was awkward, but we made the best of it. It was Europe. I still needed to have a good time, but to be totally honest with you guys, I'm actually quite happy to be right back home. Now the only thing that I have to do is get feeling better about myself, because that took me down in the dumps a little bit, and get back into the gym. And it is March. Gotta start getting into a hot girl summer. Also, I have a lot of fucking catching up to do on social media stuff. It's almost the end of the month, and I haven't done any of my JJ Malibu promotions. So, if y'all want to really support me, you can go like every single Twitter picture I'm about to drop for the next, 5 days in a row. That'd be the bee's knees. Anyways, we're here. We're starting the final, I think, court case. Well, we've been doing this case, the final court trial, if you will, of the Great Ace Attorney. And these things do take a long time, so I should probably just get right into it. But first, John Brown, hello. Jacob Welsh, Dogface, hello. Europe trip, I hope it was fun. It was. Dave Abler, good to see ya. Thanks for the welcome back. And on that note, let's just hop into it. When I awoke the following morning, Susato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down the streets. I mean the sheets. I mean the what? It was raining outside. And so began an even longer day than the last. One thing I would remember for the rest of my days. Alright, good. We're already here. We're in the courtroom. Let's get it started. Let me solve the final case of this game, put a nice bookend on it, and then let's start something new, you know? Also, some of you guys were interested in me continuing to play Super Mario Sunshine. I did take note of that. Perhaps I will do another game and sip soon. We can wallow in my woes. I can do shots again, and then I can really unpack Europe. All the glorious details of Europe. It's April 17th, 9:32 a.m. at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. And I'm here with Gina Lestrade. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? I'm sorry? You know her, in the fancy dress. Sarto or whatever you say. Oh, I don't know. Right. Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time that I had woken up. You alright with that, are ya? Forget about me if you like. Go off and see her off. No, that's not how this works. This is my job, actually, and I'm trying to avenge my dead boyfriend. Even in the video game world, I don't get much of a happy ending. It's not as though Miss Susato and I aren't gonna meet again. One day, I mean, we are best friends now. Even so. But you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two! Oh!
Sorry, the words get stuck in my throat sometimes. How are you feeling, Ginny? Did you manage to sleep?
Hey, it's Callie the Calico.
Iris, what you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Waggy!
Great way to show your support, cat.
Let him have a nose around. What harm can it do? Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Well, you see, therefore, I've been getting a lot of bad news in my personal life lately. Why don't we start with the good?
What do you say, Bruno?
Yeah, I said I mean the bad news. It's actually better to get the bad news first, and then you switch it up with some good news. You make people feel like their life is shit, and then you can only go up from there. That is the trick. Also, Fiction of Grandeur. Yeah, did you guys see the new 1,000-Year Door thing? I saw it on Twitter. Nintendo posted a new clip of, like, the intro storybook. It's all redone. It's all beautiful. It's marvelous. Peak perfection. I can't wait to replay it.
No, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad.
Alright, well, I don't plan to die in the next 10 minutes. Call me back in the next 10 days.
Yeah. That question always gives away people's personalities.
Look, let's not do some psychoanalysis right now. I don't have time for telepathetic friends.
Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move.
And I care because why?
Well, I just hope that Susie made her train to Dover and that the train isn't delayed on the way to the port.
You know, I kind of hope that it is. I am still, Susato-san's been my best friend the entire game. I don't see a scenario where she just gets yeeted out of the game's existence for the final trial. It doesn't add up. She's gonna end up here in court somehow, right? Like, she's gonna help me. That's just me vibing with my best friend. It's like, I know I'm willing it into fruition. She's gonna be back, and she's gonna save my ass. And then I'm going to go and get ice cream with her. And tell her all about my sorrows. Right, yeah, let's hope she doesn't get delayed.
Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. That is good news, isn't it?
Girl, this was just the fucking weather report. It's indifferent news. It's not really particularly good nor bad. Anyways, let's just move on.
Oh, and look! This trial's made the headlines too! Pawnbroker perishes in pig purse plunder, see?
How do you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I care. Well, I can't, because you're covering your face, and you're the most annoying defendant I've had in probably some decent amount of time. Most of my defendants have been particularly annoying.
Don't worry! Runa will show everyone that this headline is nonsense!
Right. I will?
And then, in tomorrow's papers, the headlines are gonna be... Discharged driver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo?
Yeah, something about the D's. I'm here for it. Great. So, I feel good about this. Is it time to start? This morning's paper, purchased by Iris, Gina's case is featured prominently.
Alright, good luck then, Runo.
Thanks.
I mean, obviously I don't know the law like Susie does, but, I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement.
Right. You know, I don't really know that this is as comforting as you think it to be, but if I'm being honest, I still give you my thanks, Iris. It's rather kind of you. Now please, put your firearm down.
Oh yeah, Iris. Ginny.
Well, I was wondering is all about Sholmes. Did they fix him up all right?
Yeah, the operation was a great success, but Hurley still hasn't come around yet.
Oh?
I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up.
I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment that there's any news. Oh, right. So I don't have Susato-san, and I don't have Sholmes. I'm stuck with the two girls. This always seems to happen to me. Fucking Christ, and I'm just a fucking homosexual. I didn't sign up for any of this bullshit. Regardless, it's all down to me today to prove that Gina's innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense. This trial's about to begin. Lunar Overdrive, you look like a young Gordon Ramsay. Welp. I don't love that for me, but I guess it is one step above being compared to Ed Sheeran as my lookalike, which I used to get frequently back in the day, and I'd rather not talk about it. The point is, it is a very dangerous game to compare people and their looks to other people. We recommend never do it unless the person you are comparing somebody to is like a universally recognized sex god, or like somebody who's just like, they're known for being like a symbol of beauty. You know, if you're talking to a woman and you're like, wow, you look just like Megan Fox, like, that's probably a safe comparison. Or if you're talking to a guy and you're like, wow, you look just like Zac Efron, before that weird photo of his face being a little bit botched, you know, that's probably a safe comparison. But, you know, anybody that's like more middle of the road, and especially celebrities that are actively known for like not photographing particularly well, like Ed Sheeran, maybe just like keep those ones to yourselves. You don't have to tell people who they look like. It's a very dangerous game. Anyways, let's begin court. Make your way to the courtroom.
It's time then.
Yeah, let's go, Gina and Iris.
Lead the way, Runo.
Yeah. Okay, here I go. Poor fucking Miss Lestrade. You know, she's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's just a dumb little bitch. Regardless, I do have to believe in her from start to finish. Lawyers have to believe in their clients and have to smile through the most difficult of times and the most difficult of clients. This is what I've been taught. This is what I will teach to, I believe, a beautiful big-breasted woman who will then teach it to her protege. Somebody who's gonna look somewhat similar to me. And then he's gonna solve a bunch of cases with his spirit medium friend and the whole world is gonna come full circle. Ah, and there's my boyfriend, Kazuma. He has such defined back muscles. If I learned anything from my great friend, my boyfriend, it's that I have to believe in my clients. Oh my god, Pandarin! Just subscribed, thank you so much. Happy to have you here. Welcome to What's the Effers. It's April 17th, 10 o'clock a.m., the Old Bailey Courtroom. Now that you're subscribed, prepare to watch and be amazed as I solve the case.
Oh, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. This trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. The defense is also ready.
Lord Von Zieks,
M'lord.
remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service?
It was some 5 years ago, my lord.
Yes, and then, 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly. And here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erotic behavior?
I believe you mean erratic, my lord. And,
Well, yeah, it's just, in what one might describe as your former life, 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government.
Wait, what? Really? Is the judge confused that he's taking on a case that involves a poor?
Man, fuck the poor!
Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I must confess I find it a little more than befuddling, Counselor.
Kuran says, hello, welcome to the chat. There are 2 types of person I cannot hide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large.
He means Mr. McGilded, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago.
Yeah, I just about managed to work that out, but, you know, thank you. This is what happens when you put a 5-year-old as my co-defense. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies, only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese! Whoa! Objection, racism. Did he really just say that?
He means you, Runo.
Thanks, sweetie! Nothing gets by you. I managed to work that one out too, madame. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Von Zieks' eyes. Was that directed solely at me? Or is he talking about all Japanese people? I think he's racist.
An alarmingly scathing explanation, Lord Von Zieks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors.
Your lordship is too kind.
Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of people in this trial.
Oh, great. I can't wait to see who we have this time around. Okay, we got some familiar faces. We've got some... Actually, we've got, like... 4 familiar faces. Why is my man Santa Claus dressed like a doctor today? We've got a new Chwink who looks similar to the old Chwink, but you know what? This is just like how they do it on Boys to Breed. You fucking get your new Chwink of the week, you just swap them in. It's like a goddamn revolving door. They're all worthless. And I am one of them. I'm freshly shaved. I'm trying to be a Chwink again. And then on the far right, we've got somebody who looks like the absolute villain of the video game. That should be interesting.
Former lieutenant in the British Army here. Don't you know, chaps like me were born ready.
Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think.
Oh, everything will be stereoscopic in the future! Absolutely everything! And I'm ready for it!
I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But, could I have?
Women indispensable in society. Stop! Female-centric future awaits. Stop!
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
Your lordship, where in the world do you find these people? A tourist? A tourist? What?
Is something wrong, Bruno?
Well, it's just a tourist. I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact.
Really? Funny coincidences like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it's quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know?
No! Okay, then there's some real fucker. There's no way that in a random pool of 6 million people, the same jurors keep getting selected over and over again. No. So I've been told to believe. Something here tells me I'm being duped.
Very well. Now, Lord Von Seeks. The court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case.
As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. Not his fucking cross eyes. Jesus. The victim, Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents the photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And? What's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say. Okay, well, I hear there's 6 million people in London. I bet there are people shorter than her. The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord.
Indeed. The court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please.
Great. A report prepared by the Scotland Yard coroner that confirms instant death due to a single bullet wound from the back. There are no other signs of trauma. Crime scene photograph entered to the court. A photograph of the victim found murdered in the storeroom. It shows the single bullet wound in the man's back. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. Okay, you guys did not have to do him dirty like that. Not the fucking love handles being drawn on this man's fucking corpse. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. Hey, this is kind of like my case with Kazuma. That was a closed door mystery. The victim, Mr. Windibank, and the accused. Right. Okay. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Don't you find that to be a little too convenient? I certainly do.
Well, that's that then, Frankie. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, isn't that grubby little girl the one who's the pickpocket anyway?
She's one of those filthy drabs.
Oh, well, that was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl is guilty. Whoa! Alright, Frankie, Francesca, calm yourselves. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she had to do to survive. Oh, is it time to start drinking already? Alright, chat. Just putting it out there. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. What is this music? I'm sorry. Are we turning it up to 11 here in the first fucking hour of court? That never happens for us. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. What? You just in a room with no windows. Who the fuck witnessed it? Oh, good gracious. After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pickpurse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. The court will take the floor plan and the firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Von Zieks. At once, my lord. Okay, crime scene floor plan entered into the court record. This is good. Windibank's gun, a gun belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, that Gina was holding when she was found unconscious. There are signs of a single discharge. Shit. This isn't good yet.
I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Bruno.
Yeah, you don't say. Once again, nothing gets by my new assistant. Let us begin. Oh, wow, that's a nice brooch you have. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windibank on 16th April of this year. Oh my god. That date will probably come before I finish this game. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what the fuck? Who are these people? Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court.
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is a baddie. Professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupations are same as him.
Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector.
Well, that's right. We're what they call the Three Skulkin Brothers.
What? Mr. Gregson! Who the fuck are these brothers? I'm sorry, do I have profiles for them? Ringo Skulkin, a witness to the incident who broke into Windibank's the night of the murder with his brother and accomplice Nash. He claims to be a professional baddie by trade. Nash Skulkin, a witness to the incident who broke into Windibank's on the night of the murder with his brother Ringo. He claims to be a professional baddie by trade. Both of them are younger than me. What the actual fuck? This man's face is a literal ball sack and he's younger than me. I want to kill myself. And then Tobias Gregson, wait, what? looking at me like that for? Don't lump me in with you lot.
Oh, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have, so we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And then last night we come across you, the very spiel of bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is now, she is, the very spit of him. So we decided, there and then, what we was gonna do. What we was gonna call ya. Big Bruv Skulky.
Come on, leave it out, you two. Skulky skulkin'? And that's before he's run out of chips.
Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson.
Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias.
What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you are doing in the witness stand.
The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft.
Thieves they are they?
No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me in with this lot. 2 nights ago, these 2 brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime.
Oh, by Jove, you mean to say... Oh, well, what an extraordinary coincidence.
Wouldn't that make them suspects? Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. Great. I get to deal with Wario and Waluigi today.
Order, order!
John Brown, Nash, and Ringo are Japanese for pear and apple, respectively. Is that factual information? The various trespasses of these brothers is not the subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow.
Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Oh my god, that's out of context. This is homosexuality in my video game. I get it, I know that they're brothers, but, you know, we take what we can get. Wait, incest? No, never mind, moving on. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw.
Happy to. 'Cause a skulkin's never skulkin'.
They're fucking embroidered jackets. I wanna cry. Hey, let's hear what the bros got to say before I rip them apart. The illegal entry.
We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the glass door was ajar, you see. It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, court blimey on me! We heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done muffin, governor! We never took muffin! We just left it at. Nice and quiet!
A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot.
The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. Is it? The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within, only the victim and the accused were found.
I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now, of course. Counsel, if you please.
Right, yeah, let me...
Counsel?
Well, yeah, I'm working on it.
What's the matter, Bruno?
I'm sorry. I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'm just gonna have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies that it is. Okay, well, let's get to pressing shit, shall we? Walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and the gaff's door was ajar. Press that. Changeling DJ, hello, and thank you for the welcome back. The front door of Windibanks was ajar, you say. What time of night was this?
Must have been about 1. Right, Ringo? Yeah, I'd say so. Right, Sulky?
How would I know? The place would have been shut 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town.
Well, it was pitch black inside. It's true, ain't that right, Ringo? I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning on the inside. What about you, Sulky, me old mucker?
Leave me alone!
Okay, there definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim.
Objection.
That's pure conjecture. Huh. Perhaps, but it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside.
Right! That's what happened.
Okay. It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in. What, the door being unlocked? What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in?
Well, you know, God moves in mysterious ways, they say. Isn't that right, Ringo? They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, I reckon.
You know, God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves. Huh? Sounds about right for religion, to be totally honest.
It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure of that. It weren't, Nash, it weren't. Like we said at the time. You don't just find doors open in the middle of the night like that. Why? There's no two ways about it. It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside.
They're not very good liars, are they?
Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke what looks just like our bruv.
I said cut it out.
I'm getting so... Are they not brothers? Are these just two weird men that are making Gregson be their brother? Or are they actually related? Did you get the chance to visit Herlock Sholmes's place? No, I did not. I got to see the bridges, Tower Bridge, London Bridge. Those chips are getting a chopping today. Big ass fucking Ben. And I rode the London Eye.
But once we got inside, blimey, we heard a gunshot.
Hold it!
A gunshot, you say? Just the one. Are you sure about that?
Yep, just the one, governor. I can swear to that. It was, Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv?
The firearm used belonged to the victim himself.
Yeah! Mr. Windibank always used to have his gun lying around on the counter.
Yeah, I do remember when he tried to off himself 17 times during our investigation.
When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds.
That makes sense. Mr. Windibank always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet loaded.
That's true. I remember him saying that as well.
So we can say with considerable certainty
only a single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon. Yes, my lord, we can.
And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused. Wonderful. This is going swimmingly.
We went to see the what was what, but the door was locked from the inside.
All right, press that. Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. No, I get it. Yeah, I see.
Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by. And the door was hidden behind a curtain and all.
That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open that door?
Eh?
I just mean, any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I would think.
Oh, well, your turn, Rabbit Ringo. Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you'd have to say that, we ain't normal, you know?
Broadly speaking, humans respond in one of two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. I would say the smart flee and the stupid fight, but you know, tomato, tomato. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former. Yeah, sorry I would run the fuck away if I heard a gunshot. Okay. You know, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night.
Thank you, counselors. So I believe we all understood that the door was locked and could not be opened. Proceed, witnesses.
Never done nothing, governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, all nice and quiet, you see? You didn't do or take anything. Is that your story?
Well, it was Bedlam known as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out me Lucy lockets.
So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left, nice and quietly, you say.
That's right, governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence, peace-loving nibblers, we're not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out me lucky lockets.
So you'd clearly like us to believe.
Huh?
As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person?
Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say?
Blimey, governor! You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway.
Oh my god, it was me. Your little twink boy, here I am, in the flesh. Your little twink. It was me! Fuck you!
What a bleeding Nora. Why didn't you mention that before?
Because it's my job! You were armed with a gun! And as you fled the scene, you fired that gun! At London's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes! And me!
Wait, Frankie, did I hear that correctly? There was a rumor he'd been ruined somewhere.
The great Holmes? Well, that's just not okay.
On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious presence rapidly gave the— what is this word? I'm getting pissed. Countenance. A person's face or facial expression. His impenetrable eyes and inscrutable countenance gave little away. Countenance. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Oh. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. This is good news! He's on my side!
Oh!
The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers.
Oh, yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence.
The Skulkin brothers' gun has been entered into the court record. A firearm found in the possession of the Skulkin brothers upon the arrest. There are signs that a single round was fired. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yeah, it's me. What you gotta say? Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence.
Thanks?
For yes, there are the telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder, but the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence! Because I was there!
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. Well then why does everybody else get to do witness testimony but not me? If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windibanks that night.
The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker's shop that night?
Well, let me think. There are rounds that a single round... There is evidence that a single round was fired. There's this gun. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense. The photograph... Well, I don't know that is helpful. Details of the victim. Reporting party. A single bullet wound in upper half of the victim's back. No other sense of trauma. Instant death from a postero-anterior bullet wound to the heart. The bullet entered the body from the back on a gently rising trajectory. Okay. Today's paper. I mean, out of curiosity, let's just read this really quick. Sorry, Your Honor.
Pawnbroker perishes in pickpurse plunder.
But tomorrow's headline is going to be discharge. Okay, yeah, okay. Something like that if possible. Bigger how? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial, perhaps. Okay, great. This isn't helpful to me at all. What's on the back of this paper?
There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well. Look! Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
What the fuck? You know, for a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of word news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies.
Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted? But how would somebody be doing that?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Runo?
Well, no. I'm just wondering. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday.
It could be, and it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment.
Okay. That'll probably come into play later. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Evidence that the gun was fired. Blood samples portfolio? Windibank. The unknown person, right? Yeah, because this is another bullet. And it's not in Windibank. What evidence? These samples of blood, different people's blood turns different colors. That's gotta be it. I've got it! The evidence is in this portfolio.
What? What on earth have you there, Counselor?
During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of blood stains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Oh, well, prepare to choke on those words when I prove that you're the incompetence of your police department. Anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples found, and recorded the results in this portfolio.
And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein.
Yes, my lord.
Well, no more dallying then, counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene?
Which sample shows that the men fired a shot in the... This one! The calendar.
What is that? Please explain.
It's a photographic print taken at the Windibank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident, your lordship.
From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged in there.
That's correct, your lordship. The bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death.
The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th.
That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is incredible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun at the pawnbrokers that night.
Nah!
The box, it kills me.
Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Von Zieks?
Go on, baby, throw that glass into the fire. We know that's your one-trick pony. Is that the direction my learned friend wishes to take the prosecution? Blah, 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 blah. Nope, run it back. I'm sorry, I got distracted. It's because you didn't throw it into the chandelier. I'm a little pissed. Alright, that's fine. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. Why not? There it is! But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. It wasn't exactly empty. On the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street.
Take it easy there, governor! You're gonna let us in the scoop!
We had a deal, you weren't gonna get into them details. Tell them, Sulky. Set the bloke straight.
I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Von Zieks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact.
To what fact do you refer, Lord Von Zieks?
As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brothers' gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. Well, they could have used his gun on him and then their own gun on Sholmes. Done. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windibank at all. So that's it? I kinda love them.
That's it! We didn't have nothing to do with it!
We didn't, Nash, we didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget attempted murder.
Quite a catalog, eh, fellas?
Heh heh heh. We're in for it now, bruv.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric? Says who?
I don't know, not me. Don't look at me like that. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop.
Oh! This is one of Hurley's red-handed recorders!
What is that, Counselor? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption.
As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment, the idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught, red-handed. The prosecution has obtained photographs taken by the device on the night in question. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Okay, am I playing Spot the Difference? As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory fashion. Right.
Rather prodigal, I say.
In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer to the court, the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here.
You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals.
One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord.
For 30 minutes, that seems like quite a long lingering for a criminal.
On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera.
That's a bit of fair chuck, eh, bruv?
Lady Luck loves a skulkin. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin?
Well, must have been just after 1, right, bruv?
Must have been, Ash, must have been. Just gone 1.
In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment, what scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Oh, fuck. This looks bad.
Oh, good lord! It's the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade!
This? Well, you see, there's, Has Photoshop been invented yet? As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Gina, you are killing me.
Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence. If you please, counsel.
Great. A photograph taken automatically by the red-handed recorder showing the scene a short time before the murder took place. God damn it, Gina!
I don't believe it! Ginny!
In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windibank. This definitely looks bad. Who's talking?
I say, my lord. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a bally bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwan, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from the service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Right, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battlefield after retirement, you see, the battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron, 6 men, all good and true. And we'll all go down together, you mark my words, one for all and all for one.
What is he talking about? What is happening? What is he saying? Am I about to be found guilty? The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Fuck, I'm about to be found guilty. I mean, well, my client is. Is that what we're to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Garrett Squadron's position, sir! What? But no, wait, it's way too soon to make a judgment! Status report for the court, men, on the double! His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth is clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it.
I wouldn't have left it in there, I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember.
Wait, what? What is he? Is he talking about leaving a foreign object inside of a pit? Why are his gloves like this? Hold up, man. I need to have a. Can I question this juror?
Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop.
I am very sorry for brothers. They are truly unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Okay.
Guilty.
Fuck you. Your voice is not that deep. Okay. Well,
Guilty.
go take your fist out of your patient. Alright, you two, you don't even belong here. Great! No, this has been a fantastic first day of court. I think we're doing swimmingly.
It does appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already.
That photograph. It's really fucked me. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Ginny didn't shoot him.
Well, no, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes it to assert its right to the summation examination.
Very well, the court grants permission.
So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. Thanks, you know, I'm a one-trick pony. This is what I do, actually.
We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. Always ready for action with me, chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you've determined the defendants to be guilty, and you will do it tomorrow.
All right, let me save. So yeah, day one of court, I have gotten my client found guilty. So it is looking like a bad start for me. But this is fine. This is how Ace Attorney works. You have to do bad to do good later. So if you're interested in seeing me save my ass now that I've put it over on some hot coals, join me back here tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern time, for me to dig myself out of this hole by doing the summation examination and convincing these jurors that they're all stupid and dumb, and I will gaslight them into believing me and what I want them to believe. If you guys could please leave a like on the stream, the engagement is super helpful. Thank you for spending your evening with me. It feels good to be back. I think a break is what I did need. A little vacation time because this game was getting to me. But I do think I have the energy to see through this case, and I think it'll be a good time. That is about it, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I will see you next time. And until then, boys, toodles!